hadn't pressed go live. Hold on. You have to do it in Facebook as well. Ah, it says we're live now. Okay, we're nearly 10 past, so sorry to keep you waiting. Thank you so much if you've been hanging out and waiting for us. We really appreciate your patience with our tech dilemmas this evening. Welcome to the Get Unstuck interview, which is Sarah's wonderful idea, which is us kind of reviewing how our year's gone, being very honest. You know that we always like to be really honest, share how, you know, our trials and tribulations, what's worked for us to hopefully help you. Sarah's going to dive into that a little bit more. So take it away, Sarah.
Yeah, hello. And we did say all this before, but as we're officially live now, we'll say happy full moon, happy Monday evening. Hope your day's been okay. And yeah, I wanted to interview Hannah and have a chat just for some of you to get to know us a little bit deeper, and just to be really frank and open about the kind of year that we've had, the trials and the triumphs, just to kind of connect with you on a deeper level, you can get to know us, we can get to know you, and we'd love to hear about your year as well. And if you can drop us a few comments at the end as we go along, and if anything resonates or anything inspires you or motivates you, then connect with us. So that would be lovely. So Han, can I start by asking you for a couple of questions?
Yeah, I'd love to. Should we give a quick recap of what we do, just in case anyone's new to this group and they're like, who are these people who are live on Facebook and why am I watching them?
Who are you?
We just do it very quickly. I'm Hannah Carr. I'm a mum of two. I'm a nutritionist, and I'm one half of this wellness sisterhood. So this is my real life sister, Sarah. And as well as my nutrition business, we run a little membership together, a growing membership together. And this is all about us, where we share our holistic health tools that have really helped us over the past decades with our health and get us into a really happy place by having these tools that we can keep relying on. So Sarah, tell us a quick bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, and just to shout out, Hannah's a wonderful wellness business is called At The Nourish Body. It's actually called The Nourish Body, but it's At The Nourish Body UK. And I'm Sarah. I am the slightly younger sister of this wellness.
You had to get that in there, didn't you?
Quickly. You wouldn't believe it, actually, and I couldn't believe it, that Hannah's actually turning 40 next year, but she looks really young. And if you agree, put some comments in and some love hearts for her.
I don't know about
that. So we're both based in Kent. About 2 years ago and a bit, I moved to the seaside with my other half and my two cats. In fact, we got the cats. That's part of the reason we moved. And I have a day job as an optician, but my passion lies in wellness. So a couple of years ago, I trained as a massage therapist, and then energy healing and yoga. And then that's when Hannah and I pooled our knowledge together this year to create the Holistic Health Circle, the wellness membership. So that's who we are today. That's where we've come from. And
breathwork teacher, you should. Oh, sorry. So just to add on to Sarah, Sarah's also a breathwork teacher, which is an amazing healing modality that more of us need to be tapping into, especially if you are suffering with anxiety, panic attacks, mental health. It's an amazing tool. And Sarah, because you didn't say what your business is at Balanced Body Wellness UK.
Yes. And also, while we're on the subject, everyone just take a deep breath right now into your belly.
Yeah, thank you.
Really deep, nice, huge breath, expansive, so that when you breathe in, your belly expands. And then if you want to, you go and just sigh it out. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. I think we always need that reminder. I need it. I'm sure you guys need it too.
Thank you. Should we dive into questions?
Yeah, so Hannah, if you could tell us, back in January or at the end of December, at the end of 2019, December, did you have a vision for 2020? What were your plans, if you had any, and how do you make your plans, and what was it looking like?
Yes, I did have plans, and like most people, those plans have had to change quite significantly. But I do always plan my years. I've probably been doing that for about 5 years now, where I sit down at kind of the end of December. I love to vision board. Some of you may have been to our vision boarding workshop before, and get things up visually and also connect with words. So feelings, how do I want to feel this year? And some of the, what did I actually want to achieve as well? So it kind of looks similar year to year. And the main thing for me as a wife, as a mother, as a working woman, is to try and achieve balance in my life. That's kind of the overarching theme. And when I think about balance, for me, it's like that the work's good and happy, but that I've got good relationships with my children, with my husband, with my friends, and to cultivate that, because often as busy women, time seems to be very elusive, doesn't it? So to create some time for that. Health is always a massive one for me. I really did suffer with my health for many, many years, and it's in a really good place now. So I don't have to put quite as much time and effort into it as I did when I was healing, but it doesn't just happen by itself. So health is always a big one for me. And I had a bit of a financial goal this year as well, which was a new goal, which was I really feel like my son struggled at school for a few years. And I feel like he could do with, like we feel for our children, like a bit more tender, loving care. And he was just going through the transition to secondary school. So I did have a bit of a financial goal that I would love to be able to afford to send him to private school. So they were kind of my goals for this year. And also Sarah and I had some joint goals about running some retreats this year, and that is definitely something that's had to go on hold. But more or less, my big goal for me is always to keep balance between all of the aspects of my life. And that's the really constant one that I'm always repeating every year, striving for that balance.
So if you could sum up your goal for that year, it would be to have that feeling of balance in all areas of your life.
Yeah, and I think survival kicks in a lot. And let me know if you resonate with this, if this is how you feel. But work can really overtake things every minute of the day, and especially with social media. It can creep into evenings and weekends. And I just feel that if I don't try and cultivate that balance, that I won't like, my relationships are quite good without putting time and effort into them, but they won't continue like that if I don't keep putting time and effort in. So yeah, definitely that's the one that I'm always striving for, because I feel like work can overtake things otherwise. And health can go on the back burner so easily as well. It's like everything else comes first before your health, and you feel like you don't have the time to exercise, or you don't have the time to eat healthily. And I want to kind of what's like show the right example. Like, this is the business that I want to run, but also I need to live by what I'm saying as well. Yeah.
It's good that you recognize all those things. Like you said, I mean, we normally wait for things to go wrong before we try and fix them, but you're already in the maintenance stage, but you're planning ahead as well and checking that things are continuing to be that way. So let's find out how things change. So in March 2020, was it 19th, 20th, 21st? I think
around them.
Particularly wobbly then, before an official announcement was made, and we were in lockdown officially. So we, well, I don't need to explain it. We all experienced it.
Yeah.
So how your daily routine changed from
Yeah,
March.
of course. Just as you said that, Sarah, it'd be really interesting to look back at the exact date, because that is around the 21st, 22nd is the spring equinox.
Oh yeah, the seasonal change.
Seasonal change, and a lot comes up around that time. So I wonder if it was exactly on those dates. That just sort of triggered in my mind there. What changed for me is I've normally got quite set routines, like children have to be to school by a certain time, and I exercise on certain days, and then I have to finish work at a certain time to pick the children up from school, and then they have clubs after school, and it's balancing everything. That word balance again. But that really went out the window, all of those routines, which sometimes feels really good in the short term, like we've broken the routine and it feels nice. But I'm sure lots of people will feel this, then you start to crave it. And there really was no routine. And I'm sure everyone felt like this. Let me know if you did. It did feel like Groundhog Day, like a Saturday felt the same as a Wednesday, especially because I work for myself from home and can work whenever I want to.
Mm.
I really feel like the boundaries were blurred, and I felt like I wasn't really giving my best to anything, because I was trying, obviously I wasn't planning for my children to be off school same as everyone else, and then you was having to multitask and try and teach your children, but at the same time I had these work commitments that I couldn't
Mm.
ignore.
So
um
in a way, was your routine slightly, the changes in your day were dictated by the people around you with school and work and
yeah,
things, that they were the breakers in your day?
yes, yeah. So I would say that the routine really went out the window.
Yeah.
Like, that's the honest truth of it. That's the ugly truth.
Hands up, who's didn't? I mean, come on. And it was we were fortunate with the weather at parts, wasn't it? So it's tempting to go into sort of semi holiday, I'm on holiday mode, sort of.
Yeah, but although saying that, yes, I did feel like that, but I also felt like I worked more than ever, because I didn't have to down tools at 3 o'clock to go and get the children, so I would carry on working. So I did feel like in the first lockdown that I worked more than ever, and I know that there was a real mixed bag, wasn't there? Because some people were furloughed, some people lost their jobs. And some people, like say for example nurses, were having to work more hours, so it was really different across the board for everyone, wasn't it?
Yeah, so varied, and it would be nice to hear about people's. In fact, it will link to the next question. What was your biggest emotional challenge that came up for you? Sort of, and almost, I know obviously it's almost gone on for a whole year now, a good 9 months, 8 months. What was the first emotional challenge that you came up? Because a lot of us had that semi kind of breakdown at one point. And what was your emotional challenge? How did that change? And yeah.
I think my emotional challenge was about not having absolutely any time whatsoever to myself. So my
Mm.
husband was here working from home. So there's a lot more noise in the house. The children were here the whole time. So some of the tools that we use regularly and that we teach, so like yoga or meditation or breath work, even if I was to go in another room and close the door, there's still a lot of noise going on in the house.
Yeah.
So, and really there was no, mum, could you babysit because we're going to go on a date night because you couldn't go out.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest emotional challenge for me was no break whatsoever,
Yeah.
no headspace.
I know we're supposed to be tribal beings, aren't we? And all support each other. And I do really, really feel for people with families that had no choice. They have had no support other than within their household. So how did you deal with that? How did you look after your health? What did you do to implement taking care of your mental and your physical health when those challenges were coming up?
Yeah. Um, I tried to connect with nature a lot more. So we got a puppy in December last year, which was really great timing for lockdown. Actually, it made us have a daily walk as a family, and a lot of that time, the walk was really fun. We'd play, because it was summer or spring. We would play tag and we'd sort of run and have fun, and it really let off steam. So that was lovely. But quite often I would just say that I'm going to take the dog for a walk by myself, or leave the dog at home, because sometimes that can be another stress, and just get out in nature by myself. And as you know, Sarah, and probably a lot of people watching this will know, I'm a really big learner. I love podcasts. I love learning all the time. I love audiobooks. But actually disconnecting from all of that and just going out and like looking at the trees, or listening to the bird song, or listening to, the crunch underneath my feet. That was a big saviour for me during lockdown.
Yeah, how blessed to have those nature on your doorstep. And in fact, nature is closer than we think it is for a lot of us. We are nature, aren't we? So just connecting with each other as well. Yes, I'm glad you connected with nature. That's a nice thing to do. So yeah, going on to, we sort of reviewed at the beginning what your goals were, and they had to adapt. You couldn't go out and do all the normal things. What were the achievements that you managed to achieve? What were your achievements in 2020? The unplanned, the unexpected?
So I did make sure it wasn't initially in lockdown, but something that I made sure is that every single day I was having time, although it wasn't completely by myself because there's people in the house, I made sure I had some time to myself, and that would change every morning. So it depended what I felt I needed. So it might be exercise in the morning, like a nice yoga flow or some qigong, or even a bit of cardio sometimes, which isn't my favorite, but even occasionally I do that. But sometimes it might be a short meditation, and it might be only 5 minutes if that's all I could manage. Or I really upped my gratitude practice, so just writing down every day what I was grateful for, or maybe just a couple of breaths. So that was something that I got really consistent with, was every single day doing something for myself. And really, if I reflect back to previous years when I was feeling more anxious or more stressed out or more overwhelmed, I didn't have any of that kind of practice whatsoever. So I really look forward to hearing from yours in a moment. And anyone who's listening, have you got a regular practice of any of these things? It doesn't matter if it's not the same thing every single day at the same time, but have you got some kind of practices that you can rely on, some tools that you can use to help you reduce the stress and reduce the anxiety? So that was one of them. Obviously, you and I started our membership, which is the Holistic Health Circle. So a quick overview of that is we share 5 holistic tools. So we share yoga, we share breathwork, we share nutrition, we share spirituality, and we connect with the moon on the full moon and the new moon every month. And so Sarah and I have been doing this work together and by ourselves for a few years, and that feels, I think for me, that is the absolute best thing that came out of 2020, is that we wanted to work together. We didn't quite know how we were going to do it, but forming this membership and bringing it together and serving other women and helping them with their health holistically has without a doubt been the best thing that's come out of 2020 for me personally. And every time I speak about it, I know I'm not at the moment, I'm going to start smiling now. Every time I speak about it, so one of my friends might say, how's that thing with your sister going? A smile just spreads across my face. And I think you'll agree, Sarah, it feels so aligned and it feels so right and so enjoyable. And Sarah said to me this week, like on Sunday, she said, I was doing all this research and I just loved everything I was doing. So that felt really amazing. And I would say the last thing is for 2020 that was good was the cacao that we've become suppliers for recently. So ceremonial grade cacao, which is a plant medicine, which is very opening for the heart. And I didn't want to take on another thing, because I just mentioned my nutrition, I mentioned the Holistic Health Circle, I mentioned my family, there's other things going on as well. And I didn't think I had the mental capacity to handle everything. But what I'm learning is, as I develop as a person, is sometimes you just need to be led by your heart. And my heart was saying, yes, I needed to do that. And I felt a lot of benefits through doing it. And I feel really excited about what the future holds for us, holding women's circles and cacao ceremonies. And as I said already, it just feels really fun, really aligned, and really good to help other people. So I think they're the main things, which I think on balance for such a challenging year is a lot of good things that have come out of it.
Absolutely. And when you first told me about the cacao, the Keith's cacao that you started to work with, you were so excited. You were like, yeah, a little kid at Christmas. So I'm glad that you pursued that, even though it wasn't in the master plan, or none of the business endeavours this year have been in particular. So what 3 words would sum up the year for you?
I think that although it's had its challenges, this year has been a lot more relaxed for me. So without school runs and without clubs, which my children do quite a few, and even like other commitments, and even joyful commitments of seeing family and friends and socializing, without that, although I've missed some of it, the year has been a lot more relaxed. And especially as we move into these autumn and winter months, that actually feels really good. And I've heard a lot of families saying how nice it is to have less arrangement. So I definitely would choose relaxed. And there's a lot of things about this year that haven't been relaxing, but even things like when there started to be shortages in the shops, I decided that I wanted to not buy into that. And so we made sure that we were having deliveries at home. of really good quality food, so we didn't really have to buy into that stress. And even
Mhm.
when there was no toilet rolls left in the shops, we just decided not to buy into the stress. So I think that relaxed is one of the words for me. Family is another one, so lots of family meals, lots of family walks, lots of family arguments.
Good
um,
family time.
yeah, lots of like everyone working from home. Yeah, lots and lots of family time. So that's been like had its ups and downs, but overall, I'm sure most people here would say that they love spending time with their family. So it's a big plus.
Yeah.
And the last one I would say it was probably be gratitude for me. So again,
Mm.
we've had these challenges of you know, my husband being furloughed, mum, as you know, has had some health scares, lots of challenging things that have gone on throughout the year, which is normal for anyone and any year. Homeschooling was definitely a challenge, but what I've really tried to focus on is all the blessings and what I really am grateful for in these moments, and that has made this year a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with gratitude for me.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful. Relaxation, family, and gratitude.
yes, I think overall it feels, despite the challenges, the year has been good.
Yeah.
So I'd love to visit some of that with you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your vision at the start of the year?
Yeah. So I felt like this year I was a man with a plan, although obviously a woman. Um, I ended 2019 on a health retreat in Kent, and I was getting focused, and I started to work with a business coach. And I've had this dream of running retreats, I think ever since I can remember dreaming, really. And so Hannah and I were getting organised. We found our retreat location. We started to put together some of the marketing for it and talk about the schedule. I'd also put deposit down on another place, a really beautiful place in Kent. And I've been visioning. We do this with the new moon in our new moon ceremonies. We write down our desires, we connect with how we're going to implement them. And I felt like this was gathering speed, and I was getting there, and I was ready to step into this life that I was designing consciously. um, I'm a big travel fan, so I had a couple of destinations in mind and starting to research them. So it was looking to be quite an exciting year after a couple of years of, I'd relocated and started trying to work a new career. So that always takes a little bit of time. So I felt like I had big goals, and my health actually took a little turn at the beginning of the year. So on this health retreat, I had what's the word? An infected wisdom tooth. Which, if anyone knows, has anyone had an infected wisdom tooth or teeth before? Um, I I try not to. This isn't a judgment on anybody, on the way that anybody use medication or anything, but um, for every effect there's a side effect of medication. So I was just trying to work through the pain without anything, with breath work and with and turmeric and things like that, and it was absolutely overwhelming. So I ended up having the tooth removed at the advice of the dentist. And then about 2 weeks before this global pandemic, I found myself in bed for a week, unable to move. I felt like I had been given lockdown before everyone else. I didn't go out. I couldn't speak. I was really. I got an infection called dry socket. So again, if anyone's had that or heard of that, somebody said to me it's worse than childbirth, but I wouldn't like to. I wouldn't like to say, because I haven't given birth, but maybe some people can speak to
Do
the
that if they've had both, if they've been through both.
yeah, give us your opinion. So I felt like I was served my COVID before everybody else, and it kind of made me re-look at the world already. So, and then of course March hit, and then we were all in the same boat together. Yeah.
Yeah. So your vision for the year was really these retreats that you wanted to run and some exciting travel plans. So all of that had to change then.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't going to be able to do any in-person retreats anymore in these most wonderful locations, surrounded in nature, and connecting and exercising, well, yoga, and doing all these lovely workshops together. So yeah, that was totally out the window then. Yeah.
So how did that change affect your mental health then, or your emotions, like not being able to do the things that you'd planned?
Um, I try to accept whatever the universe gives us. I believe everything happens for a reason. So I kind of went into, let's just get on with it. If this is happening, let's just do it. But as somebody who, I'm a Sagittarius, my moon's in Sagittarius, it's a fire sign. And I've got a lot of, I like to move around a lot. I love to travel. And even in my day to day, I like to be outside. I like to be walking, moving around, planning. I don't spend a lot of time at home, or I didn't before. So all of a sudden, I couldn't go to, as I mentioned before, I'm an optician. So I was going out to work in practice 4 days a week. I was teaching twice a week in the studio and in the summer on the beach. And then also in between, I was doing massages. I do them at people's homes. So I was really out a lot. And all of a sudden, we were indoors, weren't we? It's kind of like the doors were locked, throw away the key. You can go out to exercise, and that's kind of it. And actually, I did have a bit of a breakdown day. I kind of had one of those, like, it feels out of my control and I'm unable to do what I'm used to doing. Actually,
Yeah.
it was more out of habit than anything else. So
Mm.
yeah, my daily routine completely changed. My routine, I had to adapt. So I think we all had those first few days or weeks of, okay, there's no schedule. I don't need to get up at a certain time. I've got no obligation other than to eat, sleep, and drink.
Yeah.
And very quickly affected my mental health. And for somebody that loves their freedom, I really also need discipline and routine really, really strongly. So I made myself a little timetable and dividing the day up into 4 different parts. And I really, really try and abide to that. So sort of morning was dedicated to practice like yoga, movement, and wellness tasks. And then going into house, we renovated our home. So it was like house projects. And then in the afternoon, it was business, website design, trying to work out this Zoom thing and teach yoga indoors. And then family time as well. So not forgetting to schedule that in, like you said. It's
Mm.
important.
Yeah. So you made a little schedule to yourself after you'd had a few weeks of just going with the flow, because you felt like that structure helps you and your
It
mental health.
really, really helps. And then after, I'd say it got to about May or late May or June, and I was catching my mental health quite quickly. I realised, as much as I was grateful to be safe and indoors and have this time, I needed to go out and interact with the world again.
Mm-hmm.
And also from a financial point of view, that was a challenge that came up for me as well. As a self-employed person, there wasn't any government support at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to take the opportunity to go and learn something new. And as a
Yeah.
nature lover, I went to work in a garden
Yeah, we've
centre.
got that little like sideline.
Work in a garden centre, and I've got no experience whatsoever, but I needed to connect with people. And also an act of service in a way as well. It was one of the first things that was able to open after lockdown.
Yeah.
And also, people were out in their garden and they realised how important nature is as well in their mental wellness. And it was a really incredible experience to see these people coming in and being so grateful, and also learning a little bit more about nature. I can't say I learned loads in the time that I was there, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was something different.
That's good. And so is there anything that you implemented during lockdown to help you with your health or your anxiety? So other than your structure, was there anything new that you brought in?
Yeah, so I actually, at the beginning of the year, I didn't mention this. My vision was to work with a yoga teacher on a deeper level that specialises in pranayama, which is breath work.
Yeah.
So I found the teacher at the beginning of the year. I was supposed to travel to Manchester to go to her first workshop, which was of course cancelled. So I kind of pleaded with her and said, please, can you do it online? And she had that tech fear, but she worked it out. She got the workshop online. So I got my first lesson, and then she gave me a daily practice, which kept me so centered and grounded, along as millions of other benefits of breathing consciously. And also, if I'm being very, very honest, I've given up alcohol for most of this year. So I gave it up for Lent, not because I felt that I drank too much, but because Hannah and I, we're really passionate about good health. I was kind of drinking less and less anyway, and I thought any time that I do something on a regular basis, I think, oh, let's see if I can give it up. I don't like to be beholden to something. So whether it's caffeine, chocolate, shopping, I've given them all up for Lent. I'm not a practicing Christian anyway, but it's more of the challenge of giving it up. So I gave up alcohol, and it worked. It helped. I find if I drink, I just want the want for another one.
Mm.
And then the next day it's, don't you feel it? You've had, oh, I need those carbs today. I need something a little bit
You need to
stodgy.
fuel yourself all the sugar the next day.
Yeah, so it's about blood sugar levels as much as anything else. So I think I went about 50 or 60 days without any alcohol. And then there was a couple of days where I was bored and I was drinking through boredom. And I sort of caught myself and thought, that's not particularly a healthy habit to be getting into. Let's just take let's take it off the table and see what happens. And on one of our full moon ceremonies, I committed to giving it up till the end of the year. And I'm still going, yeah.
And do you feel like it's serving you, or do you feel like it's a bit too restrictive having rules in place?
To be honest, at the moment, I think it's fine because we're not out socializing. Perhaps if I was out for a friend's birthday and we were saying cheers with a glass of champagne, then I would like to have the option to do it. I don't feel like I have to do out of obligation.
Yeah.
But because we're unable to do those things, yeah, I feel relatively comfortable with it. So yeah. So
It's a really good point that you raise about alcohol. We would love for you to share in the comments if you've got anything to comment on regarding alcohol, whether you feel like it's perhaps, helped you through lockdown, like you needed those drinks. I hear lots of mums saying, I need the wine. The kids kind of slightly stressing you out. I do still drink, really not very much compared to what I used to. I gave it up. How long did I give it up for, Sarah? Was it 3 months?
oh, I thought it was
100
longer.
days?
I thought it was much
6
longer than that.
months? 6
Yeah.
months. Oh, I know. It was 6 months, but I gave up after 5. Franco cursed me into drinking. But my experience of alcohol was I used to just, drink in the weekends mainly, glass of wine with dinner or whatever. And it actually dehydrates the kidneys, and putting my hands there onto my kidneys, it dehydrates the kidneys, it dehydrates the body. And in traditional Chinese medicine, the kidneys are related to the ears. And I noticed that connection. Once I knew that, I noticed that connection of, after I've had a drink, I get really sensitive in my ears. Like the next day, it's painful if the children shout, which inevitably they do at some point, whether it's an argument or they want to get you. And sorry, not get you, like call for you. And I found that that didn't help my anxiety or my stress levels, how alcohol made me feel the next day. So just to share my experience of giving it up as well, temporarily, it was a really, really positive experience, and it increases your confidence knowing that you can do things, like
Yeah.
you can do things that you set your mind to. For me, a bit like you, I want that flexibility of, if it is a friend's like birthday, might have a glass of champagne, but it is a bit of a slippery slope, because I had a very small bottle of wine the other day, do you know those tiny bottles? And it was so nice. My husband was out, I sent him a message and said, can you get me another one, because it's really delicious. So definitely is a little bit of a slippery slope.
And that's the thing, as soon as I've had that one, I was like, oh, that was lovely, quick, give me another one. But it's a lot of sugar, isn't it? And if you're doing it in the evening
Yeah,
before bed,
yeah,
you've got to process that sugar.
yeah, you raise a really good point about the blood sugar levels, and it does massively affect them. So yeah, it's not great for anxiety. What else? I did want to ask you, do you know you said that you started this daily breathwork practice? For some people watching, they just might not have any idea what that even means. So could you just tell us briefly, what does a daily breathwork practice look like, and what were the benefits of doing that?
Yeah, so I'll just say the breath work that I teach is slightly different to the practice that I do in the morning, because it was personally prescribed to me,
Mm.
and because I've been practicing physical yoga asana for oh, I can't remember how long, maybe 15 years or so now, probably longer, no, about that. So so I already had a lot of the basics, and my teacher teaches me something called, we practice kriyas. Now I might get funky and show you what they look like because they're quite strange, but a kriya is known as a cleansing practice in order to prepare the body for pranayama, which is breath work.
Mm.
And pranayama in particular is breathing in a certain way with retention of breath. Now, when I had severe anxiety, I
Mm.
would not have been able to do breath retention,
Yeah.
because I go into panic mode. So the breath work that I teach, unless I've been working with a student for a while, I don't often teach retention,
Hmm.
because with the women that we work with, we're trying to lower anxiety. So we work with diaphragmatic conscious breathing. So it might just look like 10 conscious breaths. So Hannah and I have been saying this recently. If you think of your body, we normally think of the way we look and the way that we dress, but most of our body is on the inside. And the way that we interact with the world, we take air from the environment and we take it into the body, and we use that to stay alive. So we use it as nutrition for the body, and then when we give it back to the environment, that's what forms plant life and trees. So
Hmm.
it's really, really, really important. So yeah, my breath practices is about half an hour in the morning, and then I just consciously connect with my breath throughout the day and do some relaxing breath in the evening.
So what could that look like? Like, I have to say, breath work is the number one, I believe, healing modality for anxiety and panic attacks and stress. And you know, I teach in my 12-week course, because I teach nutrition. I say actually breath, we would die within a few minutes without breath, a few days without water, but food we can go for weeks without. So it's not the most important thing, although we are what we eat. And I believe that the most simplest healing modality is breath work, isn't it? So Sarah does teach. Are you teaching in December, the Monday, the free breath work still, or is that on pause?
So that was on a Friday.
Oh, sorry, Friday.
What was it? The breathing break we were doing every Friday at 8:30. Now for December, I needed to go into accountability. I needed to show up to the group, to the Holistic Health Circle and Collective, and commit every single day to making sure health was a priority. So I'm doing the wellness diaries at the moment, rather than the breathing break. But if people are interested, make sure that we offer that as well.
Yeah. So the breathing break was every Friday into the Holistic Health Club that you're watching this in now. So you can go back and watch the previous ones, can't you, under videos?
Yeah.
So that could be a really nice way to start. If you just don't know what breathwork is, but you're kind of curious and you would like to try something for your health, go back and watch Sarah's previous videos that she has recorded, trying this breathwork. It's free, it's simple to do. You can do it anywhere, any place, anytime, can't you? And it can really, really help with your overall health, and not just panic and anxiety, but it can help with energy. It can help like calm you down when you're feeling overly stimulated. It can help with sleep. There's so many things that it can help with. So thank you for sharing that. So Sarah, what is your greatest achievement from 2020 despite all the challenges?
Um, I think dealing with not being able to escape.
Mm.
So, you know, being at home pretty much. I mean, I do go out to work, but and then it's straight back home again. Weekends are spent at home, teaching at home, business at home. I think not being able to escape and having to deal with the present moment. So I haven't used alcohol to escape. That would have been a way I might have done it before.
Yeah.
I've got really, really, really present with what's going on and try to just deal with whatever's come up by dealing with it face on and breathing and assessing it and journaling and doing healthy practices. So I think learning to be present and going within and giving myself the time to do that, and absolutely working with my sister, working with you, and creating the holistic health circle, because this is our number one passion, is to be a support and give tools to help people get in touch with themselves and give themselves the gift of better health.
So exciting. Thank you for sharing that. So something quite sort of internal and reflective, and then something that you kind of gifted to the world as well. So
Yes, a gift to the world.
So
Yeah.
what 3 words would you use, not quite at the end of 2020, but so far, what 3 words would you use to sum up 2020?
So definitely acceptance. Couldn't change things, so had to accept that they were happening. And when in accepting doesn't mean that you're not driven to make things better, but the first step is to accept it. Accept it's happening. And then I would say presence is definitely a word for this year. There hasn't been that escape, so
Yeah.
you know, even if it's been dealing with challenging situations, then I've just been showing up to them and doing the best I can. And probably alignment, letting things fall away that aren't so important to me, and connecting and giving more time to the things that matter more. So I've written there acceptance, alignment, and presence.
Mm. Yeah, I think lockdown has given us really all the chance to reflect on like what's important and what we need to focus on. It has given us that time amongst the challenges that have come along with it, but that's really great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And just as you were saying that, I was thinking if anyone's watching this and they might want to know more on what other kind of ways that we could support them, we are running a free challenge between Christmas and New Year called the Realistic Reset. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about that, Sarah?
Yeah, so when we say challenge, it's not challenging. It's meant to be, you know, those days in between Christmas and New Year, and you don't know what day or time it is, and you eat chocolate for breakfast, and that's all good, and that's the way it should be. But we've kind of done that a lot already this year, haven't we? So
Yeah.
we wanted to give you an opportunity to get a little bit more, to get more clear about what it is you want for the year ahead. And now we spoke about our goals at the beginning of the year, and they didn't happen because the external world controlled that. But what we did have control of was how we reacted and felt about that. And for, you know, like we said, it was acceptance, and it was making the most of the situation, and it was being grateful for what we do have. And that's not to say, you know, if you feel angry, then feel angry.
Yeah.
Don't let the anger linger and dictate, you know, I couldn't do whatever, or, you know, this happened, and stay in anger because you have got control over the way that you feel in your whole internal world. And that's bigger, really, I guess, in some ways, because our thoughts happen there, and our thoughts create our reality. So the Realistic Reset are 3 days, and we're literally using some really gentle practices. There's no kind of give up sugar and give up alcohol. It's breath work, gentle breath work to get you present. It's journaling to kind of get clear on what you want to let go of and the way that you want to feel moving forward. And I think that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Maybe a little meditation thrown in there.
Absolutely.
Some journal prompts. So we'll be asking you some questions to really reflect on. And just really supporting you through, as Sarah said, that sort of funny time between Christmas and New Year, So you can move into the new year with some really clear intentions about how you want the year to look. So we will be sharing the link for that soon. It takes a little bit in the back end of organising all the emails and all the sign up links and everything else. So we're just working on that at the moment. So keep an eye. We will create an event in the group, and we would love you to invite some friends who you feel it will benefit. So we can have a really supportive, we love to say circle, a supportive circle of women coming together and being there for each other. And if you're like, don't want to wait till then, this sounds amazing, I want to find out more, then we do, of course, run our Holistic Health Circle, our monthly membership, where we have these 5 tools that I mentioned, like the yoga and the breath work and the nutrition. And it's just our favourite place to hang out online. And you're not tied in, so you can leave any time. So if you would like to find out some more about that, and if anyone's watching now who's a member, put like one word below about what, you know, what do you feel about the Holistic Health Circle? Share one word with us, but we can share more details. You was going to say something, Sarah.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak about the members, obviously nothing personal, but these are women that I didn't know before lockdown. I didn't know anything about them, didn't know they exist. They probably didn't know me. And they inspire me and light me up. And these women are doing incredible things in their life. And when I say incredible, we all pretty much have a similar structure to our daily life. It's not like they're jumping out of planes or, you know,
Yeah.
But the transformations and the effort and the commitment is incredible. And I love them. I love them all. And yeah, I love the fact that we've got the opportunity to all be in this circle together.
Yeah, it's very non-judgmental, very sacred at times, and people do share their difficulties in the group and get support from other members. But most of the time it's just sharing like the most simplest things of, look at these beautiful colours of this walk I went on, or look at this amazing birthday cake I just created for one of my children, and I just had an amazing date online, and just such wonderful things, like a really positive place to be, isn't it?
Yeah, it's positive, but people are honest and real as well. And when someone's going through those low points, which we all do,
yeah,
the whole of the group get behind them and offer support, and I love it. They've not met, most of them, I'm sure, haven't met in person,
no.
but you can really feel the sisterhood and the unity amongst us, these women and us. Yeah.
And we do hope, on that point, we do hope in 2021 to be bringing groups of women, fingers crossed, together, perhaps on the beach near where Sarah lives, not too far from Margate, Westgate. Definitely in cacao ceremonies. So I mentioned cacao earlier. We're just putting the final details together with a local location. So I'm not too far from the Maidstone area of Kent. So say between Maidstone and Tunbridge, those kind of areas. We're looking at a location close to us to hold monthly cacao ceremonies, and they're going to be on the new moon. We would actually love your feedback while we're here live. Please drop in the comments whether you're watching now live or on replay. Would you, at the moment, obviously sticking to government guidelines, would you come along to a live event, or are you still feeling like you want, you know, the safety of your bubble of your home? Do you prefer online events at the moment, or are you craving like real human connection, as long as there is still space? And like I say, like, we're sticking to the government guidelines, because we would like to line some things up for 2021, but obviously based on the fact if there's enough interest and if that's what you actually want. And if you don't know what a cacao ceremony is, very quickly, cacao is chocolate, a very, very high quality chocolate. It does taste quite different. It's not like your normal commercial sweetened and mixed with dairy kind of chocolate. It's very intense, very rich. There's lots of health benefits, but one of the more spiritual benefits is that it's very heart opening. So it's wonderful to drink, to let down your guard, to connect with the deeper, real version of you, and to do that in a sacred circle where that space is held for you. And so that is along with maybe some breath work from Sarah, maybe some meditation, perhaps some journaling, maybe a little bit of rest and sleeping perhaps. But that's kind of some of the stuff that's lined up for 2021, and maybe retreats. Do we think retreats in 2021?
It would be incredible. I'd love to meet some of you in real life. I would love it, love it, love it so much. But we want to be realistic. You talk about the realistic reset. We want to be realistic about 2021 as well. So we'll watch this space.
So thank you so much if you've joined us. The interview's gone on for about nearly 50 minutes now. So we've had a good old chinwag tonight, and we really appreciate you being here in our group, for showing up, for commenting. We haven't seen the comments. We're looking forward to reading them. For any way that you've connected with us tonight, or if you're just quiet and you're just watching, thank you for joining us too. And we will wish you a happy full moon, as Sarah already mentioned earlier, and a good start to December.
Yeah, love it. Love to you all. Thank you, Hannah. It's lovely to chat with you, and speak to you soon.
All right, see you everyone. Bye.